563 days since West Ham United sold Sebastian Haller to Ajax, who has since moved on to Dortmund as well, but it looks like the wait is coming to an end. The terms are agreed between West Ham United and Sassuolo for Gianluca Scamacca, a deal worth €42 million plus a 10% sell-on clause as well. The deal between West Ham United and Gianluca Scamacca, the personal terms, have been agreed as well. Scamacca is set to fly to London this evening and undergo his medical for the Hammers tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, West Ham United are on the verge of signing a new striker at last in Gianluca Scamacca. Anyway, welcome to the West Ham Transfer Rumour Show. As you can tell, the pink book is ready to rock and roll. And that's the latest on Scamacca, really. €42 million deal. 5-year contract for the striker as well. Medical tomorrow if all goes well. But it sounds like personal terms have been agreed between the club and Scamacca's agent, who is also the agent of Filip Kostic. But more on Scamacca tomorrow. But it's all sounding pretty good, isn't it? In regards to Kostic, it's starting to slow down a little bit. I've got a bad feeling about this one. It sounds like the offer is with Frankfurt and that Frankfurt are willing to sell him to West Ham United for approximately $15 million. He's only got 1 year to go on his contract, hence why Frankfurt are obviously keen to sell him, get that $15 million in. But it sounds like West Ham are going to struggle to convince Kostic to come to West Ham. I'm not saying that he won't come, but they've got a little bit of persuading to do. Obviously, Frankfurt got Champions League football next season after winning the Europa League. And if Kostic remains there and plays his Champions League football for the season, next summer he can obviously leave on a free. And, well, we found out pretty recently what happens when you leave on a free, doesn't it? That you get more financial incentives from other clubs available. So we'll have to wait and see for that one. But it sounds like West Ham are still pursuing this, that they do want Filip Kostic. It's just that he needs a little bit, someone needs to twist his arm a little bit. But it's got to benefit West Ham that Kostic's agent is also Scamacca's agent as well. Like I said, we've been in direct negotiations, direct communication with his agent over the last few weeks. And it sounds like Frankfurt have given us permission to talk to Kostic officially anyway. But certainly unofficially, it's been quite easy to suss out the interest, if there is any interest there from Kostic. I'm quite hopeful. Initially, when I heard this one, I wasn't too keen because I believed it was to play left back essentially. But I've come round to thinking that even if he was to come in and play left back, it wouldn't be ideal. I wouldn't be a fan of it. But he'd also play left wing back and he'd play left on that front three or front four, however you want to look at it. I think he'd be a fantastic option in those positions. It's just the left back. I'm not convinced by Kostic left back, alright? I'm going to keep on saying it. I'm still not sold on it. But I'm hopeful that it would be Kostic plus a left back. Then it's a big yes for me. But a fantastic footballer, and like I said, you look at his chance creativity, you look at his assists over the last few seasons, they speak for themselves, and he'd be a wonderful player for West Ham, but we'll wait and see what happens there. Should West Ham not get Filip Kostic, the backup option at the minute is believed to be Maxwell Cornet from Burnley. We know he has got a £17.5 million release clause after Burnley's relegation to the Championship. They obviously kick off their season this weekend, which is something I think we've got to take into consideration now, because Burnley won't really have an option. But we'll get on to another player that plays for a Championship club, a different Championship club. And it's going to get a little bit trickier to negotiate with these because they've now got games coming up. They're getting ready to kick off their campaign Friday, Saturday, Sunday, depending on when they're playing. So it's going to get a little bit trickier now dealing with the Championship clubs this week, I think. But that's the backup one. Now, while Dwight McNeil hasn't necessarily been in the press this week, we were linked to him a couple of weeks ago, so I wouldn't be surprised if that link comes back round again for West Ham. Again, £15 million ballpark, roughly the same price as Kostic. It just sounds like we prefer Kostic to McNeil. But a new name that was floating about this week in the last 48 hours as well is Zielinski of Napoli. €40 million for the Polish international. And it sounds like we've gone in for him, but we're quite far away in valuation. We're looking at around about €30 million. Napoli went around €40 million. And it sounds like there's a little bit of hesitation on Zielinski's side as well. In regards to the player, I know I've seen more of him for Poland than Napoli, if I'm honest with you. Now, looking at his stats last season, 6 goals and 5 assists is decent enough, isn't it? But it's nothing special. 28 years of age. And this would be my concern. If it was Kostic and Zielinski, it's a 28-year-old and a 29-year-old, and I wouldn't mind one of them. And listen, I'm not trying to say they turn rubbish. I'm not talking about a player's ability here. I'm just talking purely from a reselling point of view later on in future, if we wish to. Because I think it's one thing West Ham do need to improve on, and that is future sales of players. That's why Diop is the perfect example of the type of profile we should be going after. It hasn't quite worked out for him at West Ham. We're looking at selling him this summer. Now, let's hypothetically assume all centre-backs were fit at the minute and Diop was up for sale, essentially. We're holding out for 20 million. Somebody might give us that 20 million. It's a lot of money for a player that don't really fancy. If Diop was the other side of 30, he'd be 10 million at the most, wouldn't he? So that's why I'm not too keen on Zielinski in regards to his age if we sign Kostic as well. But he just doesn't carry that wow factor for me. And I think for somebody at 40 million, I would like a little bit more. And he just doesn't really carry that for me. Like I said, I'm judging him more on Poland than Napoli. So there's people that watch for Napoli disagreeing. I get it. But when I've seen him play for Poland, usually on the left wing, I think, from memory, he does all right, but not £40 million worth of talent, I don't think. And that's why I'm a little bit meh with it, if I'm honest with you. I think there's better options out there. And I've just seen, I know I'm biased here. I've seen rumours earlier in the week, Newcastle United are potentially looking at Harvey Barnes, which I don't believe because they've got St Maximin for that area. But the rumours were Harvey Barnes' price tag was 50 million. Now, there's a player, while he might not contain the wow factor as such, he does contain, I think, the David Moyes factor, that he would just work for West Ham under David Moyes. So Zielinski, good player. I'm just not sure it's a good transfer, and I think it's possible to be two different things. Maybe that's a little bit unpopular, seeing a lot of excitement for him. I'm just not buying into it just yet. Time to discuss Bereton Diaz in just 1 minute, as once more the Hammers are linked to the Blackburn frontman. However, I must confess, I've changed my mind on this deal. I'll tell you why in just a minute, but first, this video is sponsored by the One Football app. It's the best place to keep up to date with your club's transfer rumours. Unless you're a West Ham fan, it's the best place to keep up to date with your club's transfer news, because we don't have rumours coming tomorrow night or Wednesday. We've got news. Big news as we announced our new big man up front, our 6'5" man as well, holding up his new shirt with his new shirt number. Will he have number 99 at West Ham as well, do you think? Probably not. I think English football is a little bit funny when it comes to crazy numbers like that. They didn't let Renato Sanchez have a wild number at Swansea, so we'll wait and see. Hopefully, I just fancy it, just for a little bit of banter. We've had to wait 564, 65 days for a new striker. Why not make him shirt number 91? Anyway, you can download that app, which isn't as wild as Scamacca's number, by clicking the link in the description underneath this video. Once you click it, it takes you to the App Store. Once you download it, 15 seconds later, it's on your phone or device. It's not just for mobile phones. You can get it on your iPad or any other popular handheld device as well. So get it downloaded today. Fantastic football app for the football fan, and best of all, it's completely free. Anyway, we'll discuss Bereton Diaz. We all know who he is, the big man up front, Chilean international for Blackburn Rovers, who was unbelievable in the first half of last season, and unbelievably poor in the second half of last season for Blackburn as well. But there were circumstances around that with injuries and whatnot. Now, he's only 23 years of age, only got 1 year to go on his contract at Blackburn, so his valuation is roughly 15 million. Now, all summer, I haven't been keen on this, and I have explained why, and that is because I was fearful that that would be the main striker purchase. It would be Antonio and Bereton Diaz as our options next season. I didn't want that. I still don't want it. But now we've got Gianluca Scamacca in, Diaz becomes a lot more appealing suddenly for 15 million. To have Scamacca, Antonio and Diaz as your options, for your left winger options to be, hopefully, Kostic, Benrahma, Vlasic, Fornals and Bereton Diaz. It's starting to get a bit more exciting, isn't it? We'd be almost buying him in as competition for first team places, bulking out that squad depth for 15 million as well. Now I'm a bit more keen on this, and my opinion on this transfer has changed now, given the sort of squad status that Bereton Diaz would have has almost been given a little bit of clarity now with the signing of Scamacca as well. So I'm a bit more keen on him. I wasn't until now. Now I'm a little bit, maybe I'm just getting carried away with the excitement of Scamacca coming. I'm like, hell, let's just buy everyone. Apart from Zielinski. Don't buy him, he's not worth it. But let's buy everybody else. But anyway, let's see who else we're linked to. Let's buy this next guy, Luke Thomas. I got excited when I saw this transfer link earlier on in the week. Leicester City's left back, English, homegrown, happy days, 21 years old. That's a good age as well. Good experience for his age. He's played quite a lot of football in European football and Premier League for Leicester City as well. So it's ticking all the boxes here. Now, part of the reason I like it is because he's the left back. He's an actual left back. Thomas and Kostic, yes please. Kostic and nobody else, not too keen on that one. But Luke Thomas would be good because he would challenge Aaron Cresswell. He's arguably good enough to put Cresswell out the team. But you could argue Cresswell's good enough to put Luke Thomas back out the team as well. But he's only 21. There's no rush for him to be ready just like that. But given the experience he's got at that age, I think is fantastic. Now, as a left wing back, I'm not keen on him. Brendan Rodgers, Leicester often switch between a 4 at the back and a 3 at the back. They've often got big injuries at that club, so personnel forces it a little bit, but Rodgers often likes to switch it up. When he's playing as a traditional left back, I really like him. I think he's really promising. Strong defensively, average going forward. And that's why at left wing back, I think he's poor. The emphasis on the attacking outlet as you as a wing back. I always argue when you play wing backs, they're the most important players in your squad. They've got to get back in defending, they've got to get forward and almost turn into wingers and stretch that pitch and get that crosses in. And I think he's just not quite good enough, Luke Thomas. But at 21, there's plenty of time. There's plenty of time for him to develop. We're being quite patient with Ben Johnson. Let him develop that side of the game. Ben Johnson is older than Luke Thomas. The price being banded around for Luke Thomas is 15-20 million. It is pricey, but I think it's a safe bet as well. If it doesn't work out, I think you could probably sell him on for pretty much what you paid too. I don't really see much bad things with this potential deal. Do I believe it? I'll tell you why I do. Wasserman. What Wasserman? What? I don't know how you pronounce it. Mark Warburton's daughter works there. The same agency, the same player agent as what Flynn Downs has as well. So if Luke Thomas was available, I'd like to think Mark Warburton knows. If West Ham went after Luke Thomas, I like to think Mark Warburton's daughter would be on our side a little bit, keen to help us get this deal done. So when we get linked to these players, the first thing I do now, who's the agent? And when it's Wasserman or Wasserman, however you pronounce it, Mark Warburton, tax. Here we go. Anyway, Luke Thomas, it's a yes for me. Now Martin Terrier, who plays for Rennes over in France, used to be teammate of Neve Aguerd, obviously, where we just signed him from. We're being linked to him. Now, it seems a bit unrealistic. I don't watch French football, even I've heard of him. Only because he got called into the French squad, though, must confess, that's why. But 21 goals and 4 assists in the French league last season. Has played as a striker before, but been converted to sort of a left winger, 25 years of age. And a lot of the rumours going round is that we went to scout Terrier and noticed Aguerd. But I don't buy that, right? And I'm going to tell you why I don't buy it. Because we were linked to Aguerd last summer. 12 months ago, we were linked to Neve Aguerd, right? So I think it's safe to assume at that point we decided Aguerd was sort of back up to Kurt Zouma. If you go back and look, it's all there. So that means we went the season before, we went to go watch Terrier and discovered Aguerd. But COVID and stuff was a thing back then, and scouts just weren't allowed into games really. So I'm not really buying that we went to watch him and discovered Aguerd. I think it's the other way around. I think last season we went to scout Aguerd, and he's gone and had his best season to date as a footballer, and we've gone, bloody hell, this guy's good, who's him? So that, I think it's the other way around, really. I could be wrong, I just don't believe the rumours go around. Anyway, that's who we're linked to, but it's big money. Saying that, I'd be more excited for him, even though I've barely seen him play, than Zielinski. I'm just not keen on that deal, can you tell? Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. We get linked to him every window, don't we? I swear we've discussed him for the last 3-4 seasons now. This is becoming Sean Wright-Phillips stuff, this, from back in the days. We're linked to him once more for around about 10 million. After the Lingard thing fell through, he was the one that came along. This is actually who West Ham are going to go after. I don't really believe it. I think... Listen, I'm not against it. I think he's a good player. He's just broken all the time. And I think we've moved on from that. I don't think we are a few seasons ago, we would have done this deal. We would have, whether it be Sam Allardyce's manager, whatever, we would have just gone straight in and said, yes, he's a good player on his day, we'll take him. Don't worry about his injury record, we'll take him. Oh, he's never fit. Well, yeah, that's the problem with players like this. Good when fit. But when you have to say when fit, it suggests there's a problem with these injuries. That is Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Wouldn't mind him at West Ham. When fit. Just never fit. Anyway, last player I'm going to discuss today. This is like selected transfer rumours, by the way. There's no ridiculous amount out a minute. It's difficult to keep up. Is Sesko, who plays for Red Bull Salzburg. 19-year-old Slovenian striker. Should have really checked this. I think he's a Slovenian striker. Anyway, I don't mind Salzburg, as you know. But I don't really have an opinion on him because he doesn't really start many games last season. Whenever I watched Salzburg last season, I have to confess, I haven't really noticed him. I can't give you an opinion. Junior Adamu can give you an opinion on him going by last season at Salzburg. Sesko, not so much. I had a little look. We got a link to him, and I thought, Salzburg? Does he? Don't recognise the name. Then I looked it up, and I thought, yeah, he does actually play for Salzburg. But most of his appearances are off the bench. But that's who we're being linked to as well. I don't necessarily believe it, though. I don't think we'll go get another striker now that we've got Scamacca coming in. I think that'll be it. Unless someone like Broja comes up on loan. Because that's the last rumours, actually. While it's not anybody in specific, the latest rumours are from ex-West Ham employee that West Ham are now looking at the loan market to bring in players that are perhaps playing for the top 6 club and they're a bit short of game time for whatever reason. They're either out of favour or they're a younger player looking to kickstart their career. So to throw some names at you that I think fit that category, you've got probably Man United, you've got the likes of Brandon Williams, Liverpool. Maybe not anymore. I would have argued you could have said Curtis Jones was in that bracket, but possibly a little bit too important for Liverpool now. Arsenal probably have a couple of players surplus to requirements given how much players they purchased. Tottenham we won't do business with. Manchester City is an interesting one because they've obviously sold a couple of players, but there's a few of their players now round about the 19-20-year-old mark who have been involved in Man City's pre-season. They probably won't get loads of minutes at that club, so maybe they're now starting to hit the point where they could benefit of going out on loan to a Premier League club. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. That's the latest West Ham transfer rumours, but the big one is obviously that Gianluca Scamacca will have his medical tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts on all the chit-chat around the transfers at the London Stadium in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, drop a like on it, subscribe if you're new to Hammers Chat, and I'll catch you tomorrow.